I've probably wanted to be a journalist since I was 12 years old. The thing that always really drew me to photojournalism was that
ability to combine my unique perspective on the world with
the dignity and the bravery of your subjects.
Being able to show the world something in a split second
that crosses all languages
and have them understand a story and issue a moment with such complete clarity.
Photography was a way for me to give myself permission
to understand things that I was concerned about or curious about, or
grasp people's attention and lead them into telling further story.
It's, capturing history.
My name is Daniella Zalcman. I'm a documentary photographer based between London and New York. Most of my work has ended up being rooted in rethinking history through a decolonial lens, looking at the impact of colonization, how that has changed and shifted the course of countries and issues and people's lives. When I started out as a photographer, I was one of two young women working on a staff of about 60 staff and freelance photographers for the New York Daily News, almost all of whom were middle-aged white men. I did understand fundamentally from the beginning that this was a hugely male-dominated world, and that was going to be something that I was going to have to fight.
Sexism in photojournalism is pretty omnipresent. It manifests in a lot of ways. 70% of photojournalism classes being women and 15% of photojournalists in the field being women.
Something's happening between university and the real world.
Like sexual harassment and sexual assault, and it can be very small, nuanced things. Like
I'd have male photographers take my camera out of my hands and adjust the settings and hand it back to me as if they were doing me some huge favor.
They assume that you must be working in fashion, or do you shoot babies, or are you a student, or all of that stuff.
That we can only cover women's issues. We can only cover very sensitive matters.
based on the body I'm in.
I think there are so many assumptions that are layered on women photographers.
I gave a presentation of my work from Venezuela, much of which was shot on the front lines of the unrest there, and had a male editor come up to me afterwards and tell me it was a good thing that I wasn't really covering the hardcore part of the unrest because he had heard it was really dangerous. People's preconceptions about what you are as a woman are literally so powerful that they cannot see your photographs.
For female photographers who are willing and ready to take on that challenge, no photo editor should tell them, well, I don't think this is the right place for you. I don't think this is the field you should be working in. I think you should go work on this nice entertainment story instead. But in an industry that now is largely comprised of independent contractors, where hireability is linked not only to talent, because there are many, many talented photographers out there, but also how much you're liked by the photo editors. It's hard sometimes to speak up. It's hard to say, this is not okay, we need to be better. We've all sat by for a really long time. We've all tolerated assault and abuses and sexism and these microaggressions, all these little things that make the industry a really complicated place often for women. And I didn't want to sit by anymore.
We've been talking about the sexism that we encounter for years, and Daniella came up to me one day and she was like, God damn it, I'm doing something about this. And within a couple of months, because Daniella is a superhuman juggernaut, she had made it happen, and it was real.
I think I just felt like I had this degree of privilege as someone who was established enough in the industry that I was respected, my work was respected, and I had a degree of editorial freedom in that I wasn't really relying on commissions, I wasn't relying on editors liking me, fortunately. And so it freed me up to open my mouth and to start complaining and to start saying, hey, we need to do better, we need to change something. And Women Photograph is very much a manifestation of me wanting to be a thorn in the side of the industry and say when something is wrong, when I feel something is wrong. I was constantly being told by photo editors, well, I would hire more women if I knew where to look. And the truth is, these people exist. There are quite a few of us. And I was getting so frustrated with having the conversation and being on panels and talking about diversity and why it's important. And so I finally just decided, look, I'm going to make a list. Next time I have this conversation, I want to be able to say, here, I made this thing for you. Go take a look. You never can use this excuse ever again. And that's when the database started. Women Photograph is an initiative that I founded almost exactly a year ago to elevate the voices of female and non-binary visual journalists. It started out as a hiring resource, so it's first and foremost a database of 700 independent photojournalists based in 92 countries around the world. The private database includes every piece of information a commissioning editor could possibly want. It has contact information and languages spoken and whether or not that person has hostile environment training and their preferred clients and their geographical areas of expertise. And it's photographers who work on breaking news. There are conflict photographers, there are food photographers, there are entertainment photographers, there are sport photographers, women who focus on just about every sub-aspect of photojournalism. And then from there, it expanded to include an annual grant program, a mentorship program, an annual workshop, a travel fund, and a data collection team where we try to collect numbers on publication statistics within the industry. I've never really interacted en masse with this many female photographers before, just in a space that was our own, and it has been remarkable and astonishing and wonderful to see just how supportive everyone has been. Resource sharing and helping each other brainstorm placements for stories and providing contact information for photo editors. It's been incredible how much support and love and warmth there has been. And that, to me, is the best part of Women Photograph, is that there is this huge community of people who are working very hard to support each other.
I think Women Photograph has been just so incredible because suddenly you have this global network of women photographers.
It's the most helpful community of photographers that I've ever been a part of. It's so supportive.
It allows me to participate with younger women and encourage them and mentor them and see what they're up to.
It's something that should have been happening for a long time now, and
I can't imagine how I lasted so long without having that kind of sisterhood and solidarity.
I think it's also a really remarkable opportunity for photo editors to get to know the people who live in the countries where they also work and to see different interpretations of societies and cultures.
We cover life, and life is more than just the male perspective.
There's so much value in having a multitude of perspectives.
And if you're only getting a single perspective, then you're not doing justice to the people who let you in their lives.
I want us to be good, responsible, ethical journalists. That's why I care about this so much. And if we are looking at newspaper front pages that are 85 to 95% shot by men, that means that we're looking at the world through a predominantly male gaze. We're looking at conflict and politics and entertainment and sports only through the ways that men see these issues. And that's toxic. That's deeply dangerous, not just for us, but for our audience, for the entire population, for children. And so I really want photo editors and photographers in particular to be mindful of the fact that if we want to responsibly tell the stories of diverse people around the world, we as storytellers have to be diverse. We have to come from across the spectrum of identity, or we're not going to understand. We're not going to report with nuance. And I would like to think that for all of us that we'd always want to leave a business that is a better place after us. So I think that's our responsibility. I think it's our job to constantly be trying to improve this space.